That's what I represent, man. I just represent the people.
Kendrick Lamar, coming out of Compton, California, has reached the global stage.
The Pulitzer Prize in Music, Damn, by Kendrick Lamar.
In 2018, the impossible happened. For the first time in its 75th year history, the Pulitzer Prize for Music was awarded to a hip-hop artist. That artist was Kendrick Lamar, and his album, Damn, had just shattered every expectation about what lyrical rap could achieve in American culture. This wasn't just a win for hip-hop, it was validation of a decade-long transformation that saw one artist from Compton completely redefine what it meant to be a lyrical rapper in the modern era. Before Kendrick stepped onto the scene, lyrical rap was facing an existential crisis. The Golden Age pioneers like Nas, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane had set seemingly impossible standards, while mainstream hip-hop was increasingly dominated by catchy hooks and commercial appeal. Critics openly wondered if the art of complex lyricism was becoming extinct. Then came Section 80 in 2011. On the surface, it appeared to be another conscious rap album from an unknown West Coast artist. But beneath those dusty jazz samples and introspective bars lay something revolutionary. Kendrick wasn't just rapping about social issues. He was creating entire sociological documentaries through his words. Take the track ADHD, where he painted vivid pictures of Reagan-era trauma affecting his generation. When he referenced being called a crack baby, it wasn't self-deprecation. It was historical acknowledgement of how policy failures shaped an entire demographic's reality. This wasn't just conscious rap. This was academic-level social commentary disguised as street music. But Kendrick's true genius wasn't just in what he said, but how he revolutionized the mechanics of saying it. While other rappers stuck to predictable 4-bar rhyme patterns, Kendrick was experimenting with techniques that would make music theorists scramble for new terminology. His flow operated on multiple levels simultaneously. On the Heart Part 5, his rhyme schemes never lasted more than 2 bars, preventing himself from getting trapped by the limitations of repetitive patterns. As music analysis revealed, he would juggle 3 different rhyme schemes at once, while shifting their placement to create intentional tension. When listeners expected rhymes to land on the same beat, Kendrick would deliberately place them elsewhere, creating a sense of unease that perfectly matched his lyrical content about uncomfortable topics. This technique, which scholars now call generative flow, meant his vocal patterns could exist independently of the instrumental while maintaining perfect synchronization. The numbers were staggering. Complex analysis showed that Kendrick's average sentence length varied between 5 and 30 words within single verses, creating rhythmic complexity that required genuine music theory training to fully appreciate. Yet somehow, it never felt academic or pretentious. This technical mastery reached its commercial breakthrough with 2012's Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City. Subtitled A Short Film by Kendrick Lamar, the album transformed hip-hop storytelling forever. Unlike previous concept albums that loosely connected themes, GKMC told a cohesive narrative with the precision of a Scorsese screenplay. The album followed 17-year-old K. Dot through a single day in Compton, complete with real family voicemails and authentic conversations that pulled the story together. Rolling Stone called it setting a new standard for the art of the album, proving that hip-hop could compete with literature and cinema in terms of narrative sophistication. GKMC sold over 242,000 copies in its first week, debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200. More importantly, it proved that complex narrative-driven hip-hop could achieve massive commercial success without compromising artistic integrity. The album eventually went triple platinum while earning universal critical acclaim. But Kendrick wasn't content with just storytelling innovation. His 2013 Control verse became hip-hop's equivalent of a nuclear detonation. On Big Sean's track, he called out 11 rappers by name, declaring himself the king of New York, despite being from Los Angeles. The industry response was immediate and explosive. Within 24 hours, the verse gained Kendrick over 200,000 Twitter followers. Billboard reported that more than a dozen response tracks emerged within the first week. Artists from Joey Bada, Dollar Dollar, to Lupe Fiasco hit the studio to defend their positions. What made the Control verse so devastating wasn't just its competitive spirit, it was Kendrick's surgical precision with language. Each bar was constructed with mathematical accuracy, using complex internal rhyme patterns that created multiple meaning layers simultaneously. As one viral breakdown explained, he wasn't just starting beef, he was demonstrating technical superiority that most rappers couldn't match. The verse sparked what many consider the biggest mainstream rap battle in modern history. Drake responded in interviews. Nicki Minaj claimed she was both queen and king of New York, and suddenly, lyrical competition was back at the forefront of hip-hop culture. The ripple effects were immediate. Young artists realized that being commercially successful wasn't enough. You had to be technically innovative. Artists like J, I, D, Saba, and countless others began pushing their own boundaries, inspired by Kendrick's willingness to treat rap as both high art and blood sport. Then came To Pimp a Butterfly in 2015, an album that completely exploded genre boundaries. Kendrick abandoned traditional hip-hop production for live jazz instrumentation, creating what critics called a redefinition of jazz rap. Instead of relying on samples, he highlighted improvisation and soloing, working with musicians like Kamasi Washington and Terrace Martin. The album's central metaphor, comparing his artistic journey to a caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly, operated on multiple narrative levels simultaneously. Each song represented a different stage of this metamorphosis, with Kendrick's flow and vocal delivery evolving to match each emotional state. His voice became a shape-shifting instrument, adopting different cadences, tones, and timbres to suggest conflicting personalities. MTV noted how this technique connected to a lineage running through James Brown, Prince, and 1990s gangster rap. But Kendrick pushed vocal manipulation further than anyone before him. On tracks like For Free, his rapid-fire delivery reached speeds that required genuine music theory analysis to comprehend. Reddit users calculated that some verses operated at the absolute limits of human speech comprehension while maintaining perfect clarity and meaning. One analysis showed he delivered over 200 words per minute while maintaining complex rhyme schemes. To Pimp a Butterfly debuted at number 1 and earned widespread critical acclaim, but its experimental nature initially confused some mainstream listeners. However, songs like All Right became protest anthems, proving that artistic innovation could still create cultural moments. This artistic commercial balance reached its peak with Damn in 2017. The album debuted at number 1, went triple platinum, and achieved something unprecedented. It won the Pulitzer Prize for Music. The Pulitzer Committee praised Damn as a virtuosic song collection unified by its vernacular authenticity and rhythmic dynamism that offers affecting vignettes capturing the complexity of modern African American life. For the first time in history, the most prestigious award in American arts recognized hip-hop as equal to classical music and jazz. Damn proved that lyrical depth and mainstream appeal weren't mutually exclusive. Humble dominated radio with its catchy hook while showcasing intricate wordplay. DNA featured some of Kendrick's most complex internal rhyme schemes while becoming a cultural phenomenon. As one critic noted, the album trolled the hip-hop mainstream while simultaneously conquering it. The album's success was staggering. It spent 4 weeks at number 1, sold over 4 million copies, and earned 5 Grammy nominations. More importantly, it proved that audiences were hungry for intelligent content when packaged with innovative delivery and compelling production. Kendrick's influence on the next generation of lyricists cannot be overstated. When asked about his favorite rapper in 2015, Kendrick named Earl Sweatshirt, praising his technical mastery of language. This mutual respect between lyrical innovators created a renaissance of complex hip-hop that continues today. Artists like JID have openly cited Kendrick's techniques as inspiration for their own frenetic delivery and tongue-twisting metaphors. Saba's heartfelt storytelling on albums like Care for Me directly traces back to Kendrick's narrative innovations. Even veteran artists like Black Thought acknowledged how Kendrick raised the bar for lyrical rap. The cultural shift was measurable. Before Kendrick, conscious rap was considered commercially risky. After Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, Billboard reported that thoughtful, narrative-driven hip-hop became one of the genre's most successful subgenres. Complex lyricism was no longer niche, it was profitable. His technical innovations have been studied in academic settings, with music theory professors analyzing his flow patterns and rhyme schemes at major universities. Institutions now offer courses examining his work alongside canonical literature, treating his albums as legitimate artistic statements worthy of scholarly attention. Perhaps most importantly, Kendrick redefined what it meant to be a successful rapper without compromising artistic integrity. In 2013, he told Forbes that his priority was crafting music rather than chasing lucrative endorsements, famously stating, "All money ain't good money." This philosophy influenced an entire generation of artists to prioritize artistry over commercial trends. His 2022 album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, continued this evolution, presenting what critics described as a therapy session in album form. Working with spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, Kendrick created his most introspective work yet, proving that lyrical rap could address mental health, personal growth, and healing with the same sophistication he brought to social commentary. The album's structure mirrored actual therapeutic process, with the first disc representing emotional avoidance and the second representing honest confrontation. Critics noted how Kendrick was holding the mirror to himself and his audience, demanding uncomfortable self-examination through his art. Today, Kendrick's influence permeates every corner of hip-hop. From the complex internal rhyme schemes pioneered on Section 80 to the narrative ambition of Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, from the genre-bending experimentation of To Pimp a Butterfly to the commercial artistic balance of Damn. His techniques have become the new standard for lyrical excellence. Young rappers no longer just try to be clever with wordplay, they construct entire cinematic experiences. They don't just rap over beats, they create sonic landscapes that support their artistic vision. They don't just chase hits, they craft bodies of work that demand to be experienced from beginning to end. Critics who once dismissed hip-hop as simple or primitive now acknowledge its complexity. The Pulitzer Prize Committee's recognition of Damn opened doors for future hip-hop artists to be considered alongside traditional art forms. Academic institutions now study rap lyrics with the same rigor applied to poetry and literature. The numbers tell the complete story. Before Kendrick's breakthrough, only jazz and classical music were considered Pulitzer-worthy. Now, hip-hop is studied in conservatories. Before GKMC, concept albums in rap were rare experiments. Now, they're expected from serious artists. Before the Controlverse, rap competition was mostly relegated to underground battles. Now, lyrical sparring drives mainstream conversation. But perhaps Kendrick's greatest achievement was proving that innovation and accessibility could coexist. He never dumbed down his content for mainstream acceptance, instead elevating mainstream expectations to meet his artistic standards. As one Augusta University lecturer noted, Kendrick took Eminem's velocity and used it to speak on bigger picture issues. The ripple effects continue expanding. SoundCloud rappers cite his influence on making everyday life music acceptable and artistic. Established artists push themselves to create more cohesive, thematically unified projects. The entire industry now expects albums to have deeper meaning and artistic purpose beyond entertainment. Streaming platforms report that longer, more complex rap songs now perform better than simple party tracks. Music critics judge hip-hop albums with the same standards applied to rock or pop concept albums. Award committees consider rap artists for prestigious honors once reserved for traditional genres. Kendrick Lamar didn't just redefine lyrical rap, he transformed hip-hop into a medium capable of addressing any subject with any level of sophistication. He proved that rap could be simultaneously personal and political, complex and catchy, innovative and accessible, underground and mainstream. From that historic Pulitzer Prize to the countless artists who now approach their craft with literary ambition, Kendrick's influence created a new paradigm for what hip-hop could achieve. He didn't just raise the bar for lyrical rap, he constructed an entirely new foundation for the art form to grow upon. The young kid from Compton, who started with dusty jazz samples and social commentary, became the architect of modern lyrical rap. His techniques are now taught in music schools, his albums are analyzed in literature classes. His influence can be heard in every artist who prioritizes innovation over imitation. If you found this breakdown of lyrical innovation insightful, subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping music culture. We analyze the techniques, moments, and cultural shifts that define artistic evolution, because understanding how creativity evolves helps us recognize the genius reshaping our world.